Hello and welcome to Popcorn and Joysticks. My name is Theo Litston. I'm here today with Hollie Hayton.
That's her.
That's me. That's not him, that's me.
And James Barber.
That's me. Hello. Yes, welcome. Before we start,
Go on.
I just wanted to do a little bit of housekeeping.
It looks tidy enough.
Well, yes. If you're watching on the video, you will see, it's pretty tidy. But no, one thing I was just going to point out at the very beginning is we said on episode 1 that we will be doing audio versions of the podcast. Unfortunately, it's still not been set up, so we are still...
Technical difficulties.
Things take a lot longer to actually get up and running on the
audio
podcast side. It is in the works and it will be coming very, very soon. But for now, you're probably just watching us on YouTube. So if you are watching us on YouTube, thank you. And if you're hearing us on the audio podcast, that's...
We finally fixed it.
Yeah, we're a bit delayed.
Yes.
Welcome from the past.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, sorry.
So that's good. That is some good housekeeping that we needed to get out of the way. But,
Also...
Oh, here we go. Point 2. Go on.
If you like what you see and hear, subscribe to the channel.
Oh, yes, please. It will make a huge
Like
difference.
the videos and all that. Sorry, I'm just going to keep butting into you now.
Yeah. Well, one of those podcasts where we just I'm going to get on track now. So today we've got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking about the latest Grand Theft Auto 5 version landing on current gen consoles. We're going to be talking about the new Mario Kart 8 DLC. We're going to be talking about Severance on Apple TV. But first, we're going to talk about PSVR 2.
Oh, yes.
So PSVR 2 is currently in GDC, the Games Developers Conference. So we're not actually able to see anything.
No.
We didn't get invited.
We didn't get invited.
With our 4 views on YouTube. We're not invited.
Lost in the mail, I think.
Yeah.
But it is encouraging that we're hearing some really positive feedback
news
from developers who are attending this presentation that's not being hosted by Sony, it's being hosted by Unity, as in the Unity game engine developers. Yeah. And we're hearing really positive things. And I just wanted to talk to both of you about whether you're excited about this, because I know that you own PSVR 1. The original, the OG PSVR.
Which is quite a strange story of how we came about owning that. Do you want to touch upon that one, Hollie? Or?
Well, it was a convention. I can't remember which one, unfortunately. I think it was like EGX. But yeah, we might be wrong on that. And they obviously had the VR stands. And you could go on the VR stands and have a go. And I took a picture of James playing a VR game. I can't remember what it was. Was it a racing game?
I don't even know what we were
I can't remember what it was now. Took a picture, used their hashtag, uploaded it to Twitter, thought nothing of it.
Unknowingly
entering a competition to win PSVR. And then we got a message basically saying, congratulations, you've won. And I thought it was spam.
It was, I had a direct message on Twitter saying that we won a competition. We didn't realise that we'd actually entered. Because Hollie just put a picture up, or I put the picture up.
Yeah, maybe I sent it to you. I think it was on your Twitter,
I just uploaded a picture with hashtag PSVR. And then it turns out about a month later, they said that we won a PSVR and a PlayStation 4 Pro.
But we nearly didn't believe it. It was one of those, we know these messages. You've won a prize. Click here to fill in your details.
Yeah. I kind of did a double take and I looked at who added us, on the direct message, and it was actually PlayStation UK.
PlayStation.
And I was thinking, highly unlikely that is spam unless someone's hacked them. Turns out, that we won a PSVR and a PS4 Pro. But the annoying thing is, we bought a PS4 Pro ourselves literally the month before.
It was just before.
We literally bought the PSVR Pro and then we won one.
But better that way around.
Yes, but now we are the proud owners of PlayStation VR. We've had it quite a few years now.
Yeah.
Was it 4 years, 5 years maybe?
It wasn't long after it came out, I don't think.
No. We played it quite a bit when it did come out, but I do have to admit that we dramatically slowed up on playing VR games. I don't know why. It just seems to be one of those... It just kind of
happened. I think it's one of those, once you get out of the habit of using it, setting it up, it's currently not set up. Now we've got the PS5. We still haven't even got the free adapter. It's just one of those things we just haven't got round to, and now we're out of the habit of playing it. And I think I am excited for PSVR 2, but then part of me is like, but you don't play the first one. So, but probably when it's released, it's going to be a completely different story. And you see all the games, and then you get back on the hype, and then it's probably going to be,
I was going to say, I think one of the main reasons why we don't play as much now I think PSVR 2 will fill in that gap because of the reasons why we don't necessarily play this one now.
Yes.
So the main benefits that I'm seeing for PSVR 2 is that it's now a single cable.
Yes.
So you don't have that little box. You don't have you don't have a multitude of cables to plug in and working out your HDR pass through sort of stuff and all those things. It's literally plug and play.
Nice.
But for you guys, what games would you like to see for PSVR 2?
I enjoyed on the PSVR. I enjoyed GT Gran Turismo on it. I just enjoyed that being able to sit in a car and race and be able to like look in your rearview mirror or whatever.
Yeah,
that was an enjoyable game. We also really enjoyed Wipeout.
You loved getting motion sick on Wipeout. Still going through the loops. Yeah, that was really good, but you could only play that for a very short amount of time because of the amount of like sheer drops and loop the loops. You could have a few goes and it wasn't like GT where you could sit there for quite a while.
Yeah.
But
it was very immersive though, I think, because it was so fast paced and you are technically on rails on Wipeout that you do get motion sick, but not as much. Yeah. One of the demo ones with the mech one, I can't remember what
Rings.
it's called.
Yeah.
Rings,
and you jump from like...
That wasn't very... Yeah.
And I found that was the type of one which almost made me motion sick.
Yes.
I was there with that one because I played that and I said, I'm going to do this full speed as it's intended to be played. And I spent the rest of the evening being very ill.
hugging the floor.
Hugging the floor and wishing it was over.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think racing games do transfer quite well, but the ones where you have to stand up and move, not in a vehicle, that's quite tricky because my brain just goes, what is going on? Because I think there was like an Astrobot demo, which
that was really good.
That was really good, and that didn't make me as motion sick.
You're more observing. You're almost the camera, like the third person camera, observing something rather than being
Astrobot. You're not Astrobot. You're
observing it, so you're seeing it from a third person perspective.
Yeah.
But if you're actually the first person perspective, like say running, you think
it
obviously
just feels weird,
that you're running, and that what makes you feel more motion sick. But if you're playing a game where you're sat in the cockpit of a ship or in a driver's seat of a car, for me anyway, makes me feel less motion sick because you're kind of used to that feeling being sat in a car as it's driving.
Yeah.
But you are sat down in your on your sofa.
That's what we're used to. And I think I don't really know what I want to see. I kind of want them to say, this is what we've got. Because at the moment you go, well, standing up and walking games make me feel ill. Driving games make me feel fine. So show me what else we can play. Because at the moment in my head, like, I don't really know what I want. I would love to be able to play Final Fantasy in PSVR 2, but I don't know how that's going to work and if that's even possible. Yeah. So show me a way that I'm not going to be really ill and regretting my decision after.
Do you think, though, that the newer one, PSVR 2, will make you less motion sick because of the actual quality of the screen, the resolution and everything? Is it going to be less
the haptics feedback in the headset as well, which I think is designed to help relieve some of that. So it makes it, because the reason you feel sick is because your brain thinks that you're
running.
But it makes you think that you're poisoned. So your brain says to your body, be sick, so you can.
Yeah, if you feel like you're moving but you're not moving, that's the poison thing.
Which is a symptom of being poisoned.
Caveman days of eating a poison berry.
You ate a bad plant.
Yeah, rather than thinking, oh, I'm not actually in this Aston Martin. That's not what the system was designed to do.
No.
But we've seen the Horizon VR experience that's coming from Gorilla, which looks really nice, but we've seen 10 seconds of
so
it.
like no gameplay. You're in a boat.
So
and you see that's another vehicle. Yes.
You're stationary and you're just observing.
Yeah.
You're not running and being able to go wherever you want to go.
Yeah, maybe you just need to get like a little treadmill so you can like walk around in your living room.
We did try that, didn't we, before?
That was somewhere where you could have like a little walking thing.
It was like you clamp your waist onto it and you could run any direction.
It was not suitable for your living room, but it was a cool concept.
Yeah, it kind of worked. And I know like the kind of VR experience places where you would go to experience VR would have those types of things because they're not built for, your living room and put in your drawer when you're not using it.
just have it at the side of your sofa when you're not using it. But it also could be really good for people who want to work out at home, maybe.
Yeah, and I know people do use VR for workouts. Like, what's the Saber? Like,
Beat Saber.
Beat Saber.
So it's things like Beat Saber that I'm really looking forward to because I don't own a PSVR now, and for me, from what I've seen of PSVR 2 and the sort of I'm getting involved in the hype with it, I'm like, I do want one of these. It looks really good. Yeah. But my lingering question is, can it play PSVR like OG games? Can it play those original games? Can I go back and can I play Astrobot Rescue Mission? Can I play Beat Saber? Those sorts of titles. Yeah. And I really hope that you can, but Sony's been a bit cagey about revealing that information at the moment, which makes me think maybe not. No. Or maybe hopefully they're just working out some bugs or just getting it ready for later in the year. But is there a price point that would make you go, I have to have that? Or is it a case of I have to go and win one?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I don't actually know how much PSVR is because we won one. But I don't know, really. I think if a lot gets announced and it's like, okay, I need one, it's almost, to a certain extent, price isn't really a factor. It's like when the PS5 was announced, it was like, I am getting one. As long as it's nothing stupid like £2,000 or something, then if you want it, you kind of, you find the money from somewhere. Whereas if it's like on the fence, if it's like a game, if you don't know if you really want it, it'll be like, well, wait till it comes down in price. So it's going to depend on what they announce for me. But
so it's going to be more about the games, and that will determine whether you actually
I think so to start with. But I can't really put a price on it. Yeah. Because it depends how much you want it when it comes out.
Yeah. Is that something for you?
I guess, have they announced if the new one is going to be bundled with the controllers as well?
So it's likely to be bundled with the new Orb controllers, which look a lot better. They have that kind of rudimentary finger tracking, and they look a bit more similar to the Quest.
Yeah, I was going to say, because when we originally had the PlayStation VR, we just had the headset.
Yes.
And Move controllers were then separate, which then added price on. So if you wanted to play those
different games,
tracking games like the Beat Saber, for instance, we couldn't because we could only play it with a controller. So things like GT worked well, or Astro's Play Ring, whatever it was called.
The Astrobot.
Astrobot one, that type of thing works well. But when you needed actual arm movements as well, that added cost on.
Yeah.
So I assume that means that PSVR 2 is going to be more expensive because it will be bundled with the controllers, but it makes it usable for everyone and anything because everyone already has a controller.
Yes.
So getting the headset and the actual...
Everyone has the same experience then. It's not like some people have the controllers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we had PSVR, but we couldn't play a lot of the games because we didn't have the Move controllers at the time. We then had to go out and purchase them separately, which I don't really understand why they did it separate. I guess to keep the price down originally.
Yeah.
But it meant that you could only play,
certain games.
50% of the games. Yeah. So having it bundled in as the controllers and the headset on this new one, I think, is a good thing, but it probably will add that price onto it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't really see that there is a price which which will be out of price for us.
Yes.
I don't know. Do we want to guess the price bracket with it?
I'm thinking I want one of these things, and I'm thinking that 400. I'd still be 400 to 500.
Do you think that's what it's coming out at?
I think it has to be competitively priced to get people to adopt it, which of course then the more adoption rate there is, the more likely developers are going to want to make games for it and invest back into that ecosystem. If it comes out at £600, I think it's priced itself out of the market basically, especially when you can get cheaper VR headsets.
I was going to say, what are Quests and stuff? Do we know what that sort of price bracket?
I mean, you can pick up. You can get into the VR ecosystem for a couple of hundred now.
Okay.
So if you've got something that is cutting edge, it's got the eye tracking, it's got higher resolution screens for each eye, all these sorts of things. I'm thinking it's going to be a premium product.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be that much.
Okay. So you're thinking sub 400?
I don't know. I just got a feeling because obviously PlayStation seems to be the only sort of game console company pushing VR, I wouldn't be surprised if they almost do the opposite and price it almost making a loss.
Sony sometimes do that. They do price under.
And more people are going to buy it because it's then more widely available on all the different types of games, and it makes it more appealing to the game studios. You know, if you've got Horizon working on it, God of War and stuff's going to be working on it as well. And
oh my God, is that something we want? And who do we want? Like,
who do you want to be?
Would you want to be? I mean, everyone would want that power fantasy of being Kratos in God of War and throwing your axe around. But I mean, then you're just going to have Atreus kind of hanging out with you, and you're just going to have loads of like blood and viscera flying at your face the whole time. Maybe that is what people want.
Yeah, they brought Resident Evil out on PSVR, didn't they? And I thought, who the hell would want to play that? So some people do like that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a market for it. I think what I like to see from them is the sense of scale. So it's stuff that you like. Horizon is a great one for this, because you can play the game now, you can see a Thunderjoy, you can see a Tallneck.
Yeah.
They look big on the screen, but actually the sense of scale when you have to look up to them is incredible. Yes. So looking forward to getting that new sort of perspective on.
Yeah, I mean, I think we will probably get one. I mean, we ended up buying a flipping Xbox fridge.
So, let's be honest, we will get one. It just depends when.
It's gonna happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
But anyway, we should be seeing PSVR, or hopefully we'll be seeing more of PSVR 2 soon, and it's scheduled for a release this year.
Is it?
It is.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna happen. Chip shortages aside, I've gone and cursed it now. It'll be pushed into spring 2023.
It'll be spring 23.
I was going to say, I did a bit of research and they said early 23. But I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get in by Christmas.
I was going to say, it'll either be November or like March.
It can also, the release of it can also be quite telling about what else Sony has up its sleeves in terms of games releases, because, I mean, I know we're going a bit off topic here we started on PSVR, but God of War, we've just mentioned. Yes. Ragnarok is still due this year. They're still aiming for that to come out. When's that going to come out? The best time is probably just before Christmas in that November sort of like sweet November launch.
Trying to be the game of the year window. Of
exactly.
And all the Christmas presents.
You want to get as many Kratoses under the tree as possible. So but we will see about release. But I'm sure we'll be keeping track on it as it moves throughout the year, and hopefully we'll get a chance to try it at some point soon.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be trying to go to like sort of EGX and Insomnia type of gaming festivals throughout the year.
That'd be amazing if they did have one just subtly in the corner somewhere. We could have a little go on.
Just in a quiet little corner that no one else has found, and we've stumbled across it.
That's exactly it.
I think they said the invite's in the post.
Oh, okay. That invite will get through, right?
Yeah. Hopefully. That one will.
Brilliant. So, moving on from something that we haven't played to something that I've played, at least, Grand Theft Auto 5 on current gen. Okay. And I wanted to talk about this because I found it tremendously interesting that it's the most successful entertainment product of all time. It's sold over 160 million units, probably a bunch more now that it's been released on PS5 and Xbox Series. And you two haven't played it at all.
Yeah, correct.
You're gamers, you love your big action movies as well. Yeah. I want to know, what is it? What would it take for you to get into Grand Theft Auto? Is this new one is this new version anything that you might consider jumping into, especially considering that online is free for PlayStation Plus users? Or is it something that there's something fundamentally wrong with Grand Theft Auto that you're like, I don't want any part of this?
It's a very good question.
I think...
Never really thought about it.
No, I think it's just one of those, it's kind of just passed you by and you kind of just carry on letting it pass you by. There's only so many hours in a day we have to play games, and that's not many. So I say I've got to be very picky with what games I play because I don't get that many hours a week. And Grand Theft Auto has always just been one of those that's not been my thing.
Yeah.
I used to play GTA 3. I used to play, and then I tried I touched on it briefly, and then I tried Vice City, and I didn't click. But basically all I did in GTA 3, which I think is what a lot of people did, is just go around and cause havoc.
Yes.
See how many stars you can get, how quick can you get the helicopter. And the only other thing I did was basically one of the gangs had something called belly up trucks. It was just a truck that had a big fish and said belly up on it. And all I did was collect them and park them in a car park and leave them there and see how many I could get before the game reset. And that is my That's all I've done in GTA.
It's like a valet simulator.
Yes, basically. So, and then after that, I just thought, well, I'm not really playing the game as it's intended, so I'll just leave it be.
I think that's a fair point. If it's not for you.
Yeah, it probably is. I'll probably love it. If we went and played it, it'll probably be a great game, but it's one of those, it's just passed me by. And there's loads of series that have done the same.
Yeah.
And it's just another one of those I haven't tried.
Oh.
I think mine, I was almost tainted with it, and I never went back to it. So
It was a traumatic experience.
So back in PlayStation 2 days, I was saving my money to buy myself the new Xbox.
Ooh.
The OG Xbox.
That was
the chonk.
The chonk.
The chonk, yes.
And I was like obsessed with this thing because it was like new, it was different, it was
I remember when it came out.
Microsoft, it was meant to be this revolution, it had Halo on it. And I was saving, trying to afford it, and couldn't, and had help with like birthday money, birthday presents, and went into game and was advised against it.
Interesting.
And to buy the PlayStation 2 instead,
Oh, okay.
which at the time had GTA, which would have been PlayStation 2.
3?
I think that must have been 3, yeah.
So it came with that, and what?
Like you can park all the trucks you want in this game.
It's got belly up
So
trucks.
basically it had GTA 3, and I can't remember again which Tony Hawk's it. I had basically those two games.
I think probably around 2001, Tony Hawk's 3.
Yeah, I think it would have been that. And deep down, I knew I wanted the Xbox because I knew I wanted to play Halo. And I got home and I plugged it in, and I'd already had a PlayStation, or I still had. No, I think I traded in the PlayStation to buy the PlayStation 2 at the time to help pay for it. And I didn't think it was that much different from the PlayStation at the time. I had Tony Hawk's 1 and 2 on the original. Tony Hawk's 3 didn't look that much better. And the only other game I had, I loved Tony Hawk's, by the way. The only other game I had was GTA 3. And I just didn't click with it. I just didn't like it. I guess I was, I don't know what age I would have been, like 11? 12?
11, 12?
12 at the time, maybe. I'm trying to work out how old I was.
Our parents were very kind to buy us our 18 rated GTA.
I think things were very different back then, I suppose.
Yeah.
But being that young, being in control of that game and doing the things you could do within that game, I kind of was weirded out. I wasn't into that as like a kid. I was into like Dave Mirra BMXing and Tony Hawk's. So then having the control of that type of character in that type of game.
When that's not what you were after. If you were after like
I was
Halo
after,
and Xbox.
I was after Halo, and I think then that I basically regretted it, and within a week I basically took it all back and I traded it all back in and bought myself the Xbox and finally got Halo.
Yes.
And absolutely loved it, and I don't really think I touched GTA since. And I don't know if that's just a weird subliminal thing which stuck in my mind, that I was kind of like...
You associated with buying the wrong console, I think.
Yeah.
It just wasn't the game you wanted it to
what
be.
I was setting out to be, and I was advised to get something else and I didn't enjoy it. But then when I finally got the Xbox, I was like, oh my God, this thing is incredible, because something like Halo then existed.
Yes.
And then Halo was a massive part of my kind of childhood then, or the teenage years, that I almost missed those GTA years. Then when I got to my later teens, when it was probably more appealing and was getting bigger and better with the later GTAs, I was on Xbox.
Yeah.
So I never really switched back over to PlayStation for the GTA franchise or whatever. And then, for the last 10 years, just never really went back to it.
Yeah.
And it is almost 10 years as well. So it's actually 9 years since the original release of GTA 5. So this new version that came out last week brings it to next-gen consoles with a few... it looks nicer. You can run it in 4K if you want, but at 30 frames per second, or you can run it like I'm doing in a performance RT mode, so it gets 60 frames, but with ray tracing. Looks a lot nicer, and I've played it consistently for the last 9 years. I paid for the update so that I could play the story mode again, because I've not played that since 2014, so I will work my way through that slowly. I am enjoying the game, but it is an update for a 9-year-old game.
But because you are invested in the game, Yeah, of course you're going to go back and play it.
You know, we play it online like most weeks. Like me and a few friends play it online most weeks. But again, it is fundamentally a 9-year-old game.
I think it's whether did you grow up with the GTA series or did it pass you by like it did with us? It's probably one of those that if you weren't in it then, to go back now might be a bit like, I don't have the nostalgia. Like,
yeah, I think
that's the right word.
I mean, go back even earlier than the PlayStation 2. You know, I used to play the top-down versions, like the original
and they're unrecognizable,
GTAs
really.
On, the original PlayStation and stuff. That was fun, and that's almost nostalgia because it was that sort of top-down version where these ones don't hit the nostalgia for me. But certain things, just pass you by. Like, for instance, I've not watched Harry Potter.
Some things just don't.
I keep getting told you need to watch it. It's really good, and it's like. It just passed me by.
I think you're quite safe to avoid Harry Potter now. We won't get into all the reasons why, because it's more than just the fact that it's wizards and stuff. But we'll move on from Harry Potter. We'll go from a 9-year-old game to something that's a bit more current. We'll go to an 8-year-old game, which is Mario Kart 8, which has now had its first booster pack wave DLC that came out on Friday last week, I think.
Yeah.
So we've had a bit of time to play the 8 new tracks. Really good fun. We're going to be putting some content up in the next week.
Yes, we have yet to play them, so we're a bit behind on all the gaming things this week, but they do look great. But I think you have played them.
I've played them. I played them a bit in local multiplayer.
Yes.
That competitive edge that you get in Mario Kart multiplayer is still there. It's alive and well.
You mean the rage?
The rage.
Yeah.
The rage. Yeah. They look great. These tracks do look great. They come from all over the series sort of history. And it's just a really nice update. And for the value, I think for the money, it offers really good value. So I'm not actually trying to push these or sell them, but
not sponsored.
Not sponsored. Not sponsored by Nintendo.
Not yet.
I think that got lost in the post as well.
The sponsorship got lost. Yeah, they said, "Can you plug it?" And we'll send you some money. And we said, "Yeah, we'll plug it." But
they haven't sent us the money.
But just enjoying it actually, and it's more Mario Kart. Basically.
Yeah.
So it's more of just.
Were you surprised that they didn't release a new game and they are just releasing the new tracks?
Yeah, definitely. I think
a lot
of people were thinking that.
Do you think it would have been better to release like here's 9 rather than here's 8 with a bunch of new tracks?
Not necessarily, because I think with Mario Kart, each new entry in the series, each proper new entry in the series, has a new gameplay mechanic or gimmick or something. So within 8 or 8 Deluxe, we have the ability to use the anti-gravity wheels that you can go up around walls and things. That's one thing I will add here, is that none of the new tracks have that ability to be able to go, because they're not designed like that originally, because that ability came in 8. So you've only got, you've got the driving, which is the main point of it, and the parachute sort of glider stuff. So I don't know, because they've collected all of these amazing tracks and they've put them in to one game, and now we have an extra 48 coming.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of new content. I know that's coming out over the next, so it's by the end of next year, basically. We should have all these 48. We've had the first 8 drop this week. I think it's one of those that we will continue playing it for a long time. And actually,
it kind of shows that they're not going to be releasing a game for quite a few more years.
And I quite like that they're focusing on this game rather than just bringing out another game and another game. It's like, you've got the game, now we're just going to keep enhancing it if you want it. And if not, you've still got the game and it's an option. It's not like, I've got to buy a whole nother...
So when you buy the upgrade...
the pass.
Are you just buying it for this 8?
No. So the cost of the pass actually covers you for all 48 tracks going forward.
Over the next, how long? Year?
Yeah, over the next 18 months, I guess.
18 months.
So I think officially it's like £22.50, but you can shop around. I've managed to find a code online from a reputable supplier for about £16.85.
So that's that price, and you get all of the...
about
exactly £16.85.
Down to the pence.
Yeah.
So you pay that and then you get all of the tracks.
And then you get all of the tracks.
That's actually really good.
Which is good, but that's almost stopping people then, if they've got the physical copy, you're not going to then trade it in 6 months' time because you're almost
got
buying,
more tracks coming.
Yeah, you're buying into it now.
It's actually quite clever, isn't it?
I'm surprised they didn't just do like, it's £2.50 for the first 8.
But then it locks you in, so you're not going to trade it in.
End up making more money.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of confusion when it was first announced that actually these tracks were going to be, it's going to be £22 for a pack of 8.
Yeah.
And I think there's still a little bit of confusion around the community when you look on like YouTube comments and things like that, of people saying, I'm not paying that for this wave. And then it's like £100 and something by the time you've bought all of them. The fact that it's £22.50 for 48 tracks.
How many tracks are on the original game?
48.
And the original game was obviously like £50 or something, isn't it?
So you're doubling your...
Yeah.
And okay, granted, they're not going to be the top tier tracks in every single case.
No, but it's variation, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's nice to have these new tracks because we've been playing Mario Kart for a long time now. Like I said, it's 8 years old.
I was going to say, they are old tracks being brought to this, isn't it? They're not new tracks.
But they're also coming from different places. So it's not like it's all from the Wii, you know. You've got stuff that featured in Mario Kart Tour that a lot of people wouldn't have played, or there's stuff from like Mario Kart 64 that people will be nostalgic for and haven't or may have never had a chance to play. So it's actually really nice. And I'm not someone who's played a lot of Mario Kart in the history of Mario Kart. But I'm loving the fact that I've now got an extra bundle of tracks to whiz around and get cross on.
It prolongs the lifespan of the game, because I think people were maybe getting towards the end of their life
if you played it a
with
lot,
that game, wanting a new one. Now there's a year and a half's worth of new tracks coming out in drips and drabs throughout that. That it's going to make people carry on playing it for longer rather than just going, oh, here's
renews
a new
their
game,
interest,
and then within 6 months they might lose interest again.
It's
so it's quite a clever way of
it's like how TV shows work, isn't it? When you drop a whole, you know, Netflix, Disney, whoever, Apple, they drop a whole series all at once, and then it gets binged in a weekend, and then it's gone forever.
It's trending for like 2 days, and then people forget about it.
Because we have no self-control now.
we live in a society where everything has to be instant.
And we tend to try to only watch series which are all there, and if it is weekly, we will wait until the end. So you're not going to catch up and have to wait again. If that makes sense.
We're impatient.
Which brings us on to...
Yes, that's the perfect tangent. Because we have just started Severance at the moment on Apple TV, which is weekly.
Which we made the mistake in because it's not all out yet, so we have to wait.
We just assumed we live in the day and age where everything's dropped all in one go.
We did not
just
expect
like these Mario Kart games, but no, they are drips and drabs. And we basically watched the first six. The first 6 episodes, and the new episode 7 is out for us today. So we are 6 episodes in. I don't know how many episodes there are. I haven't looked. I just assumed they were all out. And then last time we went to watch one, and it said tomorrow. And I was quite disappointed that that's happened.
So for the people that don't know, what is Severance? Can you give us a bit of background?
Okay, so Severance is a Apple TV original TV show being released weekly at the moment. And we're not really going to go into too much detail or spoilers or anything, but the main premise of the show, if you watch the trailers or anything like that, Severance is a procedure where you have a chip inserted into your brain to have a clear distinction between work life and life. So your work life is completely separate
from your home life.
So when you go to work, you basically switch to work self. When you leave work at 5 o'clock, you switch completely back to your normal life self, but you have no way of connecting those memories from work to life. So for instance, it sounds quite good that you can literally go to work.
That's the thing. They've made it sound really good, and as you're watching it, you're like, is it good?
That's the whole thing with the series. Is it's a suspenseful kind of thriller.
I'm enjoying it more than I thought.
Almost dystopian, almost Black Mirror-esque. But yes, the longer you watch it, the more it starts to play on you that actually, is this a good idea? Because I think if you told 99% of the population, you can go to work at 9 o'clock in the morning and you won't even know that you've been to work because as soon as it's 5 o'clock, you'll snap back into your normal life. You don't have to take homework. You don't have to think about work. You know,
Most
almost
people say, yeah.
having that separation between work and life sounds great.
Yeah. And is it a time thing? Is it like it's 5 o'clock and now my chip's gone off and I don't
No,
have to work? Or is
It's
it
like
when
a
you go
proximity
through
thing. It's when you go down in the lift, it seems.
Yeah.
It seems. We obviously don't know any details. They're quite good at keeping you in suspense because obviously they say like work you doesn't know anything about home you and vice versa. And
They call
as
them
the viewer,
innies and outies. So your innie, your work life is your
the belly
innie.
buttons
Yeah.
of work.
And then you have your outie. So the innies at work, we'll talk about their outies. Like, oh, I put this on today. Like, oh, I've got a new tie. My outie must have gone shopping and bought myself a new tie.
Oh, okay.
Because
like it's another person.
Yeah. But they're very good at keeping. So the viewer, you don't also know what's going on. So things will happen. You'll be like, what? Because if they're confused in the series, you're also confused. So there's still so many things we don't understand. Like they'll show things and the people in it, either the innie or the outie, will be confused because it's a reference to something else they don't understand. And as the viewer, you'll also be confused. It's like, I don't know what that's on about.
Yeah.
And
so
we're
it's
seeing,
really,
but we're seeing both sides.
Yeah.
We're seeing the innies and the outies.
You're seeing both
it's
sides.
done really well. So I just recommend people watching it because you can't really say too much more without spoiling it.
Yeah.
But I'm liking it more than I thought.
Let's ask you the question, and you've not watched it.
I've not watched any of it.
Would you take the procedure of Severance to be able to go to work for your 8 hours in your day or whatever it is, and your outie self now doesn't know you've gone to work?
I think it depends on the type of work I'm doing. If it's work that I kind of enjoy, then no, 100% no. But I've definitely worked in some jobs that I'm not happy in. So
if you then went to work, but you don't know what that work is.
If it's just like me, I don't know. Yeah, okay, yeah. If it's so you're going to get paid this amount of money, and you won't know you've done it.
But your work self knows you're doing the work.
Yeah.
But your work self doesn't know what the work is.
I think I tried.
If you're if you're just on a computer doing data input,
Oh, 100%.
you would do it.
100%.
Okay.
Put the chip in me.
Interesting.
But I think before we had watched it, I'd have said the same. Like, chip me.
I think that's the thing. What they do is they almost have this thread which just seems to like. I don't know. You're being brought through very cleverly throughout the series of you feel like this is a good thing. Then they kind of.
It's quite subtle. It's not like an action, fast paced. So some of it is a bit slow.
It is slow,
but there's quite a lot.
Suspenseful.
But it is, and you're like, oh, okay, I see where you're going. Oh no, that's not where you were going. Like,
and it's more of a thriller, right? Rather than because it's interesting because it's starring Adam Scott, who people will probably recognise as Ben from Parks and Rec, and produced or directed by Ben Stiller.
Directed.
There is comedy, like there is stuff where you go, that's awkwardly funny, like not laugh out loud funny, but there's moments where you kind of chuckle to yourself and go, okay, there's something about that was amusing, but it's not a comedy. But I also
no way,
like it's just suspenseful and
it's stylized in a very, very cool way. So the slow pace throughout is almost accentuated by the way it's filmed and the way it's shot, and it's very. There's a lot of very abstract shots, which for me, I absolutely love. There's very peculiar camera angles and lighting techniques and stuff, which makes it, some things just feel more like an art piece.
Okay.
It's very styled.
I was going to say it's almost like
a Wes Anderson type sort of.
Yeah, in a way, not like, because that is like
when I think of artsy kind of.
It's not like Grand Budapest Hotel style where that to me just feels like a theatre performance.
Yeah.
This is more like you will have very, top down bird's eye view shots of like an office block. So you're seeing tiny little person walking through like an office block, which from the viewer's perspective it's almost a Big Brother type thing.
Okay,
but you're towering down on a character. They're very small. They're just a tiny little like pixel in a pea in a pod or whatever.
Yeah.
So it gives you that kind of.
It just makes it feel different.
Yeah, the story's being enhanced by the way it's not just told or acted, but by the way it's been stylized in the filming and the color, the grading, the actual. But the artistic angle, like I don't really know what time period it's set in.
Oh, that's interesting. Because I think from just seeing like a couple of shots of it, it looked very modern. It looked very clean and modern.
Yeah, and then you have some things that are very like, that's a bit of a throwback. So
it's got that kind of pull between like, is it 70s?
Is it 90s?
Is it in the future? Like I think it's got a very good artistic stylized throughout the whole thing, and it's definitely worth the watch, and I would like to come back to it when you have watched it.
Yes.
And when we finished it.
To see if your opinion has then changed about taking the procedure. But it's probably a very good question to ask the viewers of the podcast right about now. Would you take the procedure of Severance? So you can go to work for your 8 hours a day and have no recollection of it.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments whether you would have, whether you'd take the chip.
Yes.
Would you take, yes. Because I would
like a naughty seagull.
Strongly say no.
Yes.
So we're going to go from Severance, which is out now on Apple TV. And over on Netflix have released a few screenshots this week, a few shots of Stranger Things Series 4.
Yep.
So Series 4, we don't know a huge amount of
not really.
No. If we've all seen season 3, and I think we're of the same opinion, where we all kind of thought season 1 was suspenseful. There was a lot of horror and terror in it.
I love season 1.
Barb,
Barb.
But then season 2 and 3 for me, I felt quite brave watching season 1. Season 2, I was like, it's okay.
It was still good. I enjoyed season 1 was amazing. Season 2 was like, still good. And season 3, I'm a bit like, I feel like I'm watching something completely different.
Yeah, and I'm quite pleased to see the Duffer Brothers, the producers, the guys behind Stranger Things, have actually come out and said that because the kids are now older and because they've moved into adulthood, it's going to be less like a Goonies or like a Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters-esque. Like, I feel like the original, being young kids at the time, almost adds to the horror element in a way. You know, you watch some horror films, like you see a kid and you're like, it's
that's
already freaky
you
because
should be
there's a
here.
kid in it.
Yeah.
But then they got to that like gangly teenage years where it was almost like... like a Goonies.
They felt like they were more focusing on them and their personalities
rather than
and
like
their life,
the
rather
horror
than
aspect around it. So it's nice that they've almost now recognised that they almost need to go back to that more.
Yeah, so the Duffer Brothers have said that they're going to be focusing more on like a kind of generic kind of horror, and we've seen some of that in the teaser trailer so far, where it kind of is going to be like a spooky mansion with maybe some serial killers and stuff. But obviously, Stranger Things has the upside down, so it kind of means that they could do anything.
Yeah.
And we're teased at the end of the last one that the Mind Flayer is still out there. So we're excited for Stranger Things Series 4.
Especially seeing as they've said that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, bring us back to Series 1. And so, I'm kind of excited because they've said that. If they hadn't have said that, I'd have been like, I'll watch it. But
yeah, I think I would have just not watched it day one. It would have been like, I'll watch it when I finish watching what I do want to watch or play what I want to play. It wouldn't have been like a day one, I need to watch it.
I'm interested as we talked about how you like to have a series that is ready to go and you can sit and binge all of it at once. How do you feel about this series being split into 2 parts, with Volume 1 releasing 5 weeks ahead of Volume 2?
They do this in quite a few things now. Yeah. Like we just watched Ozark, who's done that. And we don't always binge it like in one day. We're usually quite restrained and we watch 1, maybe 2 episodes, but a day. So it'll probably
we wouldn't ever watch more than, say, 2 episodes in a day.
That's why we're not going to just binge the whole 5 episodes in one day. But we'll probably wait till those 5 are out, watch them, and then... We're not that restrained to wait till the whole thing is out.
Okay, so you will watch Volume 1, get that watched, and then you'll have that little wait.
Yeah, that's fine,
because that's almost like watching a whole series. You know, Vikings did the same.
Yeah,
Ozarks, we're in the middle of the gap in Ozark at the moment.
Otherwise, the risk is also spoilers. Because if you wait too long, you're risking...
And I think that's the thing with, we are talking about Stranger Things, but that... I wouldn't be worried about spoilers in Stranger Things.
No.
I would be worried about spoilers in Ozark.
Yeah, yes.
And I don't know if that's just because I kind of fell off the end of Stranger Things.
Maybe.
Like, it was fun, it was enjoyable, but the newer series was forgettable.
Yes,
Where I still think about Series 1 now.
Exactly,
The way it was filmed and just the kind of the storytelling around it was very impactful. And I feel like it just kind of fizzled out. Yeah. So now if they're going back to like the roots in a way, I want to see more practical horror things.
I think
like when the I don't even know what they're called, but coming through the wall, the demon things.
The Demogorgon?
Was it? I can't even remember, but it was like stretching, the walls like being stretched, and it was like the real horror elements rather than just going, here's like a thundering night shot of flashing lightning and there's a mysterious monster in the mist in the distance. Like that's CG and that's not
or even
real.
the monster in the mall at the end of series 3, where it's like it's all gross and gloopy and sort of things, and the kids are battling it. But it's like we've seen. I think Marvel's ruined me for this. It's like we've seen so many CGI monsters and like what I call like end bosses and like these sort of films and TV series now that actually I'd rather see something that's practical.
That's what I mean. Like things like that are scarier than just going, just chuck a load of CG at it or chuck a load of blood and gore on like you can just tell it's a person dragging
and I also remember when they were in the woods, they were in the Upside Down, but it was in the woods, and I can't remember the kid's name, which was the one that like disappeared, and Will, that was it. When he was in the woods and like stuck, I remember that being like not necessarily scary, but they're like, this is weird. Like you don't really know what's happening.
And I think in my mind, exactly what you were saying about being that first series is really impactful, and it has stayed with me. I do picture imagery from that series, much less so from 2 and series 3. So I'm hoping that this new series.
I think that's what I mean. It just I wouldn't be worried about the spoilers of the new one because I kind of fell off the end of it. But if it was like the original, when series 2 came out, it was like, we got to watch it like day one. You can see what happens.
Yes.
So hopefully, this and having 2 parts. You might pick people back up again, and then by part 2, they'll probably build it over that. So that's probably a good thing that they are splitting it.
I'm hoping that there's going to be a real return to form with Volume 1, and people will be going mad for Egos and stuff. And then, they'll build up all of this hype, and then we can all collectively hold our bated breath waiting for Volume 2.
Yes.
So we have got dates for these now as well. Series 4, Volume 1 is the 27th of May.
Okay.
Which I believe is the same day or maybe 2 days after Obi-Wan comes out. So it's going to be competing with Disney Plus for attention. But Volume 1 is 27th of May and Volume 2 is the 1st of July. So literally a 5-week wait. So, but hopefully that 5 weeks we can all experience together.
Do we know how many episodes each?
I think it's 9 episodes in total, I think. So I'm not sure how they're going to be split, whether it's going to be... I mean, God forbid it's going to be 8 and 1, but
Could you imagine?
it'll probably be something like 5 and 4. I think. And I imagine that wherever they finish Volume 1 is going to be something big, and then we have hopefully 4 amazing, and then hopefully we have 4 amazing episodes to come to finish it all off.
Nice. Yeah. I am excited.
Yeah.
And talking about finishing it all off, here we are at the end.
Drum roll, please.
We've got trivia time.
Oh,
so James and Hollie, you're going head to head in this season.
Because we smashed it so far.
So we're currently 0-0-2.
It is.
2 for Theo, 0-0.
It's been a very low scoring
competition so far. Do you want to explain the premise of the game show?
It is very, very simple. So I offer you two, and you at home as well, a very simple multiple choice question around something that we may have talked about in this episode.
Oh, no.
And today, the question for you is, in the original Japanese release of Mario Kart...
I knew it was going to be Mario Kart.
Oh, no.
Which characters celebrated a race win, by downing a bottle of champagne? Was it A, Mario and Luigi? Was it B, Bowser and Princess Peach? C, Toad and Mario, or D, Luigi and Donkey Kong? So a pair of these characters would celebrate a race by drinking champagne, by downing a bottle of champagne.
Can you say B again?
B was Bowser and Princess Peach.
I'm going with Bowser and Princess Peach.
Bowser and Princess Peach? We've got Mario and Luigi, Bowser and Princess Peach, Toad and Mario, Luigi and Donkey Kong.
I'm just going to go A.
You're going to go A.
Yeah.
Well, I can say that one of you has got a point here.
One of us got a point.
Who's it going to be?
The correct answer is Bowser and Princess Peach.
Oh, you got it right. Did you actually know? Or was that a guess?
It was an educated guess.
Oh, interesting. Based on they're old enough to drink.
I just thought Princess Peach would be the one who's more glamorous and drinks champagne.
Oh, okay. And I suppose Bowser's a king.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Okay.
And I thought, Mario's probably not.
Probably not a champagne guy.
Not a champagne guy.
What would Mario drink, I think, is the question.
Question of the day.
I mean, let us know if you know.
if you mates with Mario.
Yeah, if you're mates with Mario.
What would they drink to celebrate?
Yeah.
I think coffee.
I mean, that makes sense because as a plumber, he probably has a lot of jobs to go to. He's always getting offered cups of tea when he's on the job, sort of thing. Probably less so when he's rescuing Princess Peach.
So technically...
You're in the lead.
So James takes the lead in our trivia time competition, and we'll be having a question every single podcast, and we'll see who wins at the end of the year. So
probably Theo. Probably Theo's going to win. The question master is going to win.
I don't know. Anyway, that brings us to the end of our show today. Thank you very much for joining us. If you enjoyed what you saw or heard, like and subscribe, and leave your questions about Mario Kart, GTA, everything down in the comments.
And would you take Severance as a procedure so you can go to work and not even know about it?
Would you take the chip? And we will see you next time. Thank you very much.
Bye.